Welcome to the Culture Encounters podcast. I'm your host, Chad Omby. And today we have a little bit of a different episode. That's right, we have a hybrid episode today. We're continuing on our series of talking to the board members of Culture Encounters. Today with Jackie Granchamps is here with us today. But also it's going to be part talking about the story of Jackie, but it's also going to double as a road trip episode. That's right. Today we're going to go to New Jersey. We're going to go to the Garden State. I'm really excited about this. It'll be kind of cool to switch up the format a little bit, but you know what? It's our podcast. The rules are only what we want them to be. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be exciting. And without further ado, let me bring her in, Miss Jackie Granchamps.
Hi,
Hey,
Chad.
Jackie. Hey, welcome. How are you?
I'm so well. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thank you, yeah, for taking the time to out of I know which is a really busy schedule for you to being able to come here. It means a lot. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for serving on the board for Culture Encounters. I don't say it enough because I get in host mode, but I really do believe in what we do, and I'm very proud to see what our organization has become over the last 7 or 8 years. So, um, I'm really appreciative of all of the board members for being here and helping to grow this thing. So let's talk a little bit about what brought you here. So, what brought you to Culture Encounters, and what does that word mean to you? That word culture. What When you hear the word culture, what does that mean to you personally?
Well, my family is from not from this country. I'm a first generation American. My family's from Haiti.
Right.
So I always saw the duality of culture, and speaking one language at home and living a certain way, and then going to school and speaking English, and kind of like having those parallel worlds running. So I've always been very aware of that. And I felt like Culture Encounters was a wonderful opportunity for me to help to teach and spread the message of many cultures. I came to meet Ama, the founder, from through a friend, another coworker,
Right.
former board member, Marilyn, who is amazing.
Oh
We
yeah. Oh
love
oh, I love
Marilyn.
Marilyn. She's amazing.
She's
Former guest on
she's
the show,
amazing.
Marilyn. Yeah.
She's such a light, and of course, she made this like perfect connection. And I did a couple of events with you guys, and I just really like the idea of shaping the minds of the next generation to really be inclusive and smart and assertive about who they are, but also accepting of others. And I decided when the board membership came up, I decided to take the opportunity.
Right. That's amazing. So you mentioned being a first generation American, families from Haiti. Talk about that experience a little bit.
Mm.
Coming from, your family coming to America from Haiti. How aware of you? How aware were you growing up that okay, hey, I'm a part of two different nationalities, two different cultures, and how did that life experience for you? Being in different, being in a country that, is, filled with immigrants, but at the same time, not, the country where your family has roots in this, rich culture elsewhere. How was that for you growing up?
I think like New York is a microcosm of the world.
Right.
You can find you can basically visit every single country in United States or in the world, really, just in the United States by visiting New York.
Right.
Whether it's so we were like whether whatever, but Haiti was always very prominent in Brooklyn, right? So there's a huge Haitian community there. So we were able to be immersed in our culture, and go to parties and go to church in French, and
Right.
go to see different, performances or movies. We were connected in that way. The food. And the community also was more tight knit, I think, than people are now.
Right.
Um, that sense of community, extended family was very big. So we were able to very much keep the ways, kind of like the old fashioned ways, right? But being in the United States, we also were indoctrinated in we are Americans, right?
Right.
This is how we operate. This is who we are. We are proud. We are like upstanding. We anything. You can be anyone. You
Right.
know, and we took that on and combined. I feel like the best of the two. But even growing up, I grew up here in Jersey, and even going to school, I felt like there were really a lot of immigrants at the time. I guess early '80s. But when I went to school, there were people whose family came from Italy, and I remember a little boy, third grade, Vincenzo, came to school, could speak no English. Like the nuns would speak to him in Italian, right?
Right.
Or like people were from South America, or they were from Puerto Rico, or they were from, well, that's the United States, but you know what I mean, like different language. So we did really see that a lot. Um, but I think it was just such a good, rich experience
Right.
being exposed to all of those cultures and incorporating or taking the things that you love from each one of those and incorporating them into your life.
Absolutely. And I love that you're so open to that and, willing to embrace other cultures. And I think that is incredible. Even just like stepping up to have that conversation, I think is really important. You had mentioned, being bilingual or at least bilingual, right? With is it French and English are the two?
I speak French, English, Creole, and Spanish.
Okay. And at home, was it primarily French or Creole?
Um, that's very interesting.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
they tried to make all the kids speak French, and I would always like, I would say that the French makes my mouth hurt. Like it's weird.
Right, right.
I'm like, it's weird. So even now, I speak Creole most of the time. Um, French when, like when the situation calls for it, or if I'm like somewhere like in a foreign country. But we always went to um, we always went to church in French,
Hmm.
and then we would speak Creole at home, and then you would speak French with like, like the upper echelon of the matriarchy, right? So like
Right, right.
aunt, great aunts, grandma, like those older people, and then with like mom and aunts, you would speak Creole. Like it was almost like a hierarchy. It's weird, but maybe
Right.
that's
I
and
I
there
got
was
you. I wonder if it's like in like the medical community, for example, like Latin is spoken a lot, but like when you get to like really talking about things in the medical world, you start using Greek. Like
oh,
as you get higher up. So I wonder if it's kind of like that. So forgive me, my history of the country of Haiti is severely lacking. So I would love to learn more. Do you think that the does the language of the like changing from other languages to French, does that have to do with like a history of colonialism?
yes, exactly.
Okay, got
Yeah.
you.
So Haiti is the actually the first black nation to abolish slavery and gain its independence in 1804.
Wow,
And
1804. Oh my gosh.
yes, so
Wow.
1804. But like the people are very proud, very strong. And at that time in the world, Haiti really set off rebellions around the world because it was the first nation that where the slaves were able to overthrow the colonial
Right.
the
That's
colonial.
great. That's like 100 years before a lot of other countries. Like you hear about
Yes.
like India and Pakistan like overcoming their colonial roots, and that was literally like over 100 years later. I didn't realize it was so early.
Yeah, it definitely
Wow.
is. And it's interesting is that Haiti, they actually helped the different countries in South America gain their independence. And Haiti's flag is red and blue. So many of the other countries in South America have included those red and blue stripes as honoring Haiti in their flag design. So it might be like
Really?
red, blue, and yellow, or red, blue, and green, but they still, or it's like a different pattern of the red and blue, or there's an emblem, and that's really just honoring the way that they're all, all of the military dictators in Haiti would help, not dictators, but military leaders in Haiti
Right, right.
would
I know what you.
help
Yeah.
all of the other countries gain independence.
What I
And
love.
also,
Right,
yeah, a lot of the escaped slaves, would kind of like rely on Haitians. They've helped found New Orleans. So
right,
that's why New Orleans is very like French Creole.
right,
Haitians founded Mardi Gras. So there's a saying in Creole that says, "You look like a Mardi Gras," right? It means like you look garish, like you look crazy.
right.
But that's like the Mardi Gras is the costumes. You look like wild, right? So it's really interesting. Haiti has a really has deep roots in the United States, more than people think. Haitian man founded Chicago too.
Really.
Yeah.
I wonder. You think that's where I wonder because like when you hear about music, like quote unquote American music, you hear about New Orleans and you hear about Chicago. I wonder if there's a tie in there. Wonder if like the blues and jazz and ragtime have its roots there in some way. That'd
I
be
never,
interesting.
that would be interesting. I've
Mhm.
never thought of that.
Yeah, like you hear about like the Delta blues and Mississippi and Louisiana, and then Chicago blues. So, which I know like those artists were primarily people of color, but I don't know if their background what would have been Creole and Haitian or if they were elsewhere. But that just yeah interesting. What I love about that story you just mentioned really quickly going back to it, you had mentioned that the people of Haiti helped all of these other countries overcome their colonialism. I think that that's incredible, and I think that that's incredibly selfless. And like, there are so many different borders, artificial borders now, like that
Hmm.
are man-made borders, and people will totally, I think, use that as an excuse to not help each other out. But the world is so much smaller now
Hmm.
because we because of the internet and social media and the way we interact with each other, the world is so much smaller that I feel like a lot of the borders of the world are archaic. So like the fact that like in the 1800s, just because I think it's incredible, and I think it's incredibly inspiring that these people were willing to help all of these other countries overcome what they had to overcome, just like that kind of like unconditional love for humanity, I think is incredible.
Wow, thank you for putting it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
It's interesting that that we see that, right? But
right,
the the backlash from that from the rest of the world, Haiti is still the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere,
right,
and part of that is you know um, it's just a lot of foreign interference,
right.
and like it just conspiring, against Haiti being a prosperous country. And to this day, Haiti is still paying for its independence. The slave owners and France itself, we've been paying reparations to them for hundreds of years.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah.
Okay.
So what happens is, most of Haiti's, income, GDP, goes to pay back the debt from the slavery. So it's really quite interesting how the world worked. But I think overall, despite whatever systems are happening in the world, I think the Haitian people are they are very resourceful, you
Sure.
know and it's a poor country, so people don't live with much, so there's a lot of creativity there.
Right.
you
Out of
know and
yeah, necessity. It sounds like it's out of
yeah,
necessity, yeah.
necessity is like the mother of invention.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and well, it sounds just from what you were telling me, it sounds like the work is, it sounds like strides are made, but, I think it goes to show that the work isn't done, ever, right, as far as, improving things for everyone.
Yeah,
Um,
it's getting there. It's
that's
really
good.
getting better.
Right,
And especially, more, I think there's a new movement, more of the diaspora like me, who are first generation, or second generation, are contributing to projects that are in Haiti now,
mhm,
and really helping to the infrastructure. Currently, there's a canal project that is being built on the border with Dominican Republic. And it's really like, United States educated people are going back to Haiti to, help with the construction, help with the fundraising. That's gonna and it's gonna the project's gonna help, farmers across the country. So it's really getting so much better.
That's incredible. That like
Mhm.
that is really great, and I'm glad that these things are happening. At least even if it's like it's still a process, and I can imagine it's frustrating. But I love your optimism, and I love how you're like it is going to get better, and here's the steps we are taking. I think that's incredible. Let's go ahead and shift gears now to talking about New Jersey. So you had mentioned that you were, were you, so you had mentioned your time in New York, but then you moved to New Jersey and grew up there. So talk to me a little bit about growing up in New Jersey. What part of Jersey do you live in? And what are some things about New Jersey that you think make it really, really special and really unique?
Well, Jersey has a real great attitude.
Right,
Like Joe Pesci. If you can think of Joe Pesci, that's like Jersey,
right.
Um,
I think of
and
my cousin Vinny immediately.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
But Jersey's an interesting place to grow up. It's very green. It is called the Garden State,
right.
and lush green fields. Beautiful like sanctuaries, big trees. But I think most of that is a little bit further south. Right now, I live on the border of Manhattan,
Okay.
right in New Jersey, across the river. So if you could walk across the Hudson River, I would be at 64th Street or 68th Street in Manhattan, and
Right.
so a little bit uptown. And so we're super close. And New Jersey kind of goes from city to like suburb to country. You know,
Oh, wow, okay. So you have a little bit of everything in Jersey.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. What's the interesting thing about Jersey? I think I mentioned this to you, the diners.
Yeah, I want to
Diner
talk about the
culture,
diners.
diner culture is the best here.
Yeah.
There are diners everywhere and all types of diners, not just like actually the American style diners with like the big steak fries. Those are probably the best. Now that I
Oh, for
think about
sure.
that.
And I think a diner is actually a really good metaphor for multiculturalism, or at least inclusion, right? Because everybody's welcome at a diner. Like
Yes,
anybody can go into
yes.
a diner and be welcomed for the most part. And I feel like I don't think I've ever met a rude employee at a diner. Like in my experience, I think every time I go there to any diner, like I've been very, very fortunate, and just like everyone has just always been so cool and so nice. But I mean, maybe other people have different experiences, but like I've always just got like a really welcoming atmosphere from any diner I've ever been into. So
Yeah, I think diner rude is not like fine dining rude.
right, right, right,
It's
right,
like it's like give me your order. What do you want? Like be
right.
quick,
It,
but definitely always great service, always really fast.
right, for sure.
And there's something about the soda. I don't know if you call it. I don't know where you live. If you call it pop or if you call it
Yeah,
soda.
I always ask that question. So in it's for me in Virginia, where I live in Virginia, it's
Yeah.
soda. But my
Okay.
fiance, her family's from Ohio. It's pop to them.
Okay.
What is it to you in Jersey?
Soda.
Soda. Okay.
Yeah, for
Now,
sure. Oh,
if you're gonna eat a long sandwich, a sandwich on log bread with different ingredients, what is that?
a sub
A sub. Okay, it's a
or a
sub for us
hero.
too, or a
Actually, it
hero.
depends. Heroes are cold. Subs are hot.
Okay, yeah, I think it's like a cold sub or a hot sub here. And
Okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
what do you call a long piece of processed meat on a bun, in between a bun?
Oh, a hot dog.
It's a hot dog. Isn't it like
Yes.
a glitz or a glibs or something in New York? Like some name?
No, sometimes they call them dirty water dogs, which
Oh,
are like
okay.
the hot dogs from the corner vendors, but those taste the best.
Yeah, I've heard. I haven't had those, but I've been to New York, but I
Okay.
haven't been fortunate enough to have a hot dog from there. But food wise, what is so other than diners, are there any other restaurants or any type of food that you can get in Jersey that's like, man, this is really authentic to a specific culture that you've noticed?
Oh my gosh, Italian food, hands
Italian?
down. Go to Hoboken, and Hoboken is like where Frank Sinatra spent a lot of time.
Right.
And they Hoboken has the best Italian food, and these are real Italian immigrants. And I used to live in Hoboken
Mm-hmm.
for 5 years, and there used to be like a social club on the corner, and during the summer, some random night, the gentleman there would sing opera in Italian to the neighborhood, like you
Oh,
know
that's so cool. That's amazing.
like I would just hear you laying in bed at like midnight, and he would be like la, you know, and it would be, and then the neighbors would like clap. We would all go to the window and be like, wow,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know.
that's awesome.
And like down the street, there's this amazing place called Fiore's. Fiore's makes fresh mozzarella every single day,
Mm,
and the line is out the door.
I'm sure.
And while people are waiting in line, they give you fresh pieces of mozzarella. Oh my gosh, the
Just to
best.
like, oh my God, that's
You
amazing.
can see how excited I'm getting about
Yeah, yeah,
talking about the food.
it's making my mouth water for real.
It, I mean, real like a fresh like that's one of like the things I was talking about, like the multiculturalism here, is
Hmm.
that there's like little microcosms of people, and these like first generation Italian immigrants that came really like set the food culture in Hoboken,
Hmm.
and it is just it's incredible. If you ever have a chance to come, you can just take like the train from Manhattan. It's like 3 or 4 stops into New Jersey,
Yeah,
and it's
sounds awesome.
definitely worth it. You will need a nap.
That sounds great. So real quick, a quick little anecdote from a time I had in Jersey that like tangentially affected me, and I want you to tell me if this is if this occurrence would be common there.
Okay.
So my sister-in-law and my brother and I stayed in Newark at the Newark airport, like the hotel right there, and
Okay.
I my brother and I slept in one morning, and it's one of my biggest regrets that we did this. We slept in one morning, while we are on our way home. But my sister and some of her friends were like, "Let's go get some food." So they woke up early in the morning and they found this Puerto Rican restaurant. And they went inside, and they were the only non Puerto Rican people there.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody there was so excited to see them that they
Okay.
they gave them their food, right, and like they ordered food and they were asking what's good and everything, and then the wait staff was like, oh, you got to try this, and like would kept bringing them different dishes of like pastries and all of these different things, and I'm like, that's incredible that they just wanted to share their food with you. Like that's it was really cool. I'm like, man, I'm so jealous. I should have just like woke up early. But is that the kind of like thing, we talk about food bringing people together? Is that something like that you would think like, oh yeah, that sounds like something that would happen in Jersey?
That does sound like something that would happen in Jersey. Where did you guys come from on
It
vacation, or
Yeah.
where were they from?
So we were again from Virginia. We went to Newark,
Okay.
and we were going to see a concert at Madison Square Garden. So we stayed
Okay.
in Newark and then took the train into or subway or whatever. I think I don't know what
The
the
pass
term.
train
Yeah, we
from
took that.
Newark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just into Manhattan.
Okay.
And I don't remember. I wish I knew. I'll have to text her and post it later. The name of the restaurant that they went to, but this was like
Okay.
6 7 years ago. But they
That
queuing.
definitely sounds like Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
it was great.
the neighborhood I live in is all Dominican neighborhood.
Yeah.
So from Hoboken, right behind Hoboken, there's like a bluff. And starting once you go up there, it's like Jersey City. And it's just like mostly Spanish speaking. We cannot talk to our neighbors.
Hmm.
That's how I learned how to speak Spanish, at least like 40%, because
Hmm.
I out of necessity I had
Sure.
to learn. No one spoke English at the grocery store, the post office, the local stores, but definitely the culture through food and feeding people. That's how like they show their love, you
Right.
know.
For
And I'm
sure.
sure like if coming from like I don't know if she has like an accent like to you, I can hear Virginia, right?
Really, really, and that's so fascinating. You're not the first person to tell me that, but like to me, I can't hear a Virginia accent. To me, the
Yeah.
Virginia It's either southern or not southern. Like there's not a lot of in between. Like for
Oh,
me,
yeah.
whereas like, but like hearing you talk just now, I can hear a little bit of like New Yorkish, New Jersey-ish, but not as much as like it's not like super thick or anything.
No, I have my customer service voice on though, because
Oh, oh, got
we're
you.
recording. But I
Yeah,
think
my yeah,
depends.
I gotcha. Um,
But definitely like just, Jersey is so it's just so interesting. Like, a few towns away, it's mostly like Jewish people. So you're going to hear a lot of Hebrew,
right.
right? Or if you go to Brighton Beach in Brooklyn, that's all Russian. Or, like the signs are in Russian. The
Mhm.
the the people are speaking like there's nothing. And it's really fun here because every day is like something new. Like you really can just immerse yourself in another culture. Like I just feel like going to Chinatown, and I
Yeah,
can't speak to most of the people. I have no idea what the words say, but it's just you're getting such a rich experience from it.
that sounds amazing. So on kind of like piggybacking off of that, if somebody had one day, like a tourist, somebody from Virginia had one day, 24 hours to spend
Mm.
in Hoboken or in Jersey in general, or even like just right, or even like going into Brooklyn, um, where would you? What would if they had? What would be the one thing that you would tell them they absolutely have to do?
Oh my gosh.
I know it's a big question. Or if you can't pick one thing, a couple things.
Wow. Okay. So they have 24 hours. Are you sleeping?
You should, yeah, yeah. So you go, you like get there at like
Okay.
8 a.m. You have like 8 a.m. to 8 a.m.
8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Okay. Mm. Okay, so I would say definitely you have to walk around the city.
Of
That's one of
Hoboken.
the things.
Hmm.
You are going to take the subway, but I just love walking around the city. So I would say the walking would probably do in Brooklyn, in Greenpoint.
Okay.
Um, and I'd probably save that to the end of the day. So in the morning, oh my God, what a tough question. What would they do? We definitely go to Times Square. That's number one.
For
Because the
sure.
energy in Times Square is like there's this like electricity coming up from the floor. I
For
don't know
sure.
what it is from
I
that
can
like
I can confirm that. Yeah,
yeah,
it is
right? It's
one
like
of my
this
favorite places in the world.
yes.
Mhm.
It's just like it just revives you. Like once you get in that little area, it's amazing. So definitely have to do that. Touristy spots. Um, I would say I like running and exercise, and I love to see the skyline. So if you want to see the entire New Jersey skyline, you can go to the West Side Highway, which there's a park all along Battery City Park. It's beautiful. It's called the Winter Garden at I want to say. What do you think? I'm so sorry you put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
I would go to Battery Park. That I would
All
do
right,
that.
Battery Park.
Yes, and then there's the sailboats there.
Ooh.
You could do tours. It's really beautiful. The eating in the winter time, there is an ice rink that they build outside. So any time of year, there's tons like really lovely restaurants in there. And let's see, one more thing. Hmm. I would probably hit a Russian baths.
Uh,
Going
uh,
to
okay.
the to the sauna and the baths. I
Oh,
think
okay.
that gives you a nice authentic feeling of like it's a different kind of New York. There's like a different undercurrent.
Right.
And that's like one of the hidden fun things about New York. You get to really talk to people, and it's a relaxing experience. But you also get a lot of like cultural things from there too. But it
Yep.
has to be a Russian bath.
Right. For the authenticity, yeah,
for
for
the
sure. That makes
authenticity.
sense. Awesome. Yeah,
You get beat by
I'd
the
never
great
even heard of
thieves.
that. That's so cool. Well, Jackie, this has been an incredible conversation. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I always love this. I'll say, yeah, it'll take 15, 20 minutes. We're at 30 now, so uh,
Yes.
that's awesome. Like that, like it time flies when you're having an awesome conversation. So, thank you so much for being here this
Yeah.
evening,
Thanks so
and
much for having me. I really enjoyed myself.
I'm so glad. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.